Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a Path of Exile 2 video, specifically around the Huntress. Now, the Huntress has been quite a controversy this season. It's the new character drop for Dawn of the Hunt. Now, I was very excited. I love playing Huntress, and I thought I'll give it a go in Path of Exile 2. What you don't know is last season I started with an Invoker Monk. Tempest Flurry, Tempest Bell, the works. And then I got put onto the Gemling Stacker. Obviously using the Howers, the Hand of Furtive Action, and the Ingenuity Belt, and the 3 Dragons. With the Moria Invictus, and a bunch of breach rings and all that good stuff. Now that got nerfed into the ground this season, so the stacker is no longer an option yet. We may see some variations of that build later on. I'm hoping to do one myself, but we'll see how it goes. In these clips you can see me go through Trial of Secubus. So I have a level 93 Amazon Huntress, fully ascended, and all my points are where I want them to be for maximum damage and also giving me that little bit of defense. Now, she's not a very defensive build. I'm still working on that aspect of it. I know there are things like Hiri's Ire I could get and all that to make her pretty much indestructible, but those are not realistic in terms of my budget for currency right now. So, as I'm going through this, I'm fairly easily clearing absolutely everything in my path. Nothing seems to bother me. The first 3 bosses, well, 4 because it's the second stage is 2 bosses, I took down no issue. And I do that with Stormlance and Lightning Spear and Barrage. Those are the 3 skills I use, and it works very effectively. So I get taken to the Trial Master, not the Trial Master, but the Test of Time boss. And you can see that even though I made some mistakes, which I will mention, I relatively easily kill him. Let's get into that. Okay, so here we are at the boss fight. 9 times out of 10 I do this relatively easy. He doesn't do too much damage to me, however this time I forgot to use Barrage, which then got him to trigger his come get my hourglass. And unfortunately, as you can see here, I almost failed because of it. Sometimes the placements are great, they're really easy to get to, they're all kind of clustered together. Grab them this time. I, as you can see, am trying very hard, almost panicking to get to this last hourglass before I die. But as you can see, after that's finished, it takes me a couple of seconds and the boss is dead. No, it's a very effective build overall, and let's get into the skills so that I can show you exactly what I did. But like I said, my 3 main skills are Lightning Spear, Stormlance, and Barrage. Those are the 3 things that I will only use against mobs, bosses, the likes. For map clearing, general map clearing, it is always Lightning Spear. 9 times out of 10, the uniques or rares that you find mobs can also be killed with Lightning Spear, not an issue. For map bosses, I use Stormlance and Barrage, and that is also for pinnacle bosses, Zesh, King of the Mist. I haven't actually done the big, the Arbiter yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. We use a combination of these 2. So let's get into the skills a little bit more in depth. From your Ascendancy, I have Infused Weapon, which gives turns all my physical damage into lightning damage. And in that I have Blind, and I'll get into a little bit why I've got Blind. I have Culling Strike, Lightning Penetration, Maim, and Strip Away. Now, if you want a more in-depth video on why I did what I did, you can, but by now, if you found this one, you've probably seen them all. For lightning spear, I have Volt, because I want to get those voltaic charges. Do not spam. This is the mistake I've seen a lot of people do. Do not spam lightning spear. Move around, wait for those charges to be at 30, and then throw a spear. It'll clear everything. If you do it right, it'll clear everything in your path. I have Primal Armament, which gives me 25% more elemental damage. I have Inhibitor because I don't want these to consume the charges because I want them for Stormlance. And Fork. For Stormlance, our boss killer, we have Scattershot for the 2 additional projectiles. Perpetual Charge to not remove the charges but still count as using them. Overextended for damage bonus. Deliberation for more damage. And Blindside. Blindside supports 15% more critical hit damage against blinded enemies, which is exactly why we have Blind in Infused Weapon. Barrage. We have Premeditation. And we have Twofold. Then obviously we have our Herald of Thunder, because this is a lightning build. In that we have Innovate, which gives the 35% of damage as lightning damage. We have Elemental Focus, which is 25% more elemental damage. We have Neural Overload, which electrocutes primed enemies on hit. And we have Electrocute. And then early game, you're obviously going to have Combat Frenzy and Sniper's Mark, but it's end game for us. We have Cast on Critical, we had the Spare Spirit. And in that I have Sniper's Mark, which I only use for bosses. Mainly with our Stormlance, Profusion, Impetus for increased energy, and then also energy retention to refund half the energy at a 35% chance. I have Wind Dancer with Ingenuity, Warm-Blooded, and Pin, and then I have Ghost Dance with Fast Forward. Now all my skills I have worked on for a couple of hours, well, more than a couple of hours. I've worked on it for a couple of days really, to kind of get it to where I want it. Now, I know I've had a look around and I know that these look a lot like a lot of other people's, but that's not why I have them in there. In fact, I had them in there before I looked around. I just wanted to see if I could, there was something someone was doing that pushed that up way more, and just gave me that little bit of edge, but not really. I've picked things that work for me, work well in my build for me. There are numerous other things you can do. You can remove Fork, you can add Execute, you can do a lot with the spear. But this works for me as it is, and I don't have any issues. Now, if we look at my gear, ignore the very full inventory, I'm using the Tangle Tongue. Now, Tangle Tongue is the chance to it adds critical hit chance. Now, you want to get as much critical hit chance as you can on the Tangle Tongue. I have 19.44% uncorrupted. I know I could possibly corrupt it and get 2 sockets on it, but I don't want to take that risk. This is working just fine for me. I have accuracy rating on it, and it does a great deal of damage. For my headpiece, I went with a Divine Crown, and that gives me 123% increased armor and energy shield, with increased accuracy rating, increased maximum life, and then it gives me my resistances. I'm using the Lycus a Day Rampart Tower Shield for that accuracy rating to be doubled. It also gives us 91% increased armor and a 37% increased block chance. Then, for my amulet, I just went attributes. The reason I went attributes is because I'm using Hand of Wisdom in action. So I have their Spirit, which I needed, some rarity of items, accuracy again, mana because you do start to struggle a bit late game, and then all my attributes. In my rings I have lightning damage, evasion rating, life, and then again my attributes and my cold resistance. This one's got my, again, physical and lightning damage to attacks, mana, strength, and then my resistances. My boots have 35% increased movement speed, 100% increased evasion and energy shield, just so that I can get that energy shield above 1000. Lightning resistance and reduced shock duration on me. Again, I'm using the Hand of Wisdom and Action Spiral Wraps. I know they've been nerfed into the ground, but they still do a great deal for me for this build. Adding 1 to 11 lightning damage to attacks per 20 intelligence. Now, as you can see here, I have 279 intelligence, which isn't bad. So I get quite a bit of extra lightning damage. I'm using the Ingenuity belt. Again, this is not the best one out there. It does have 2 charm slots though, and it gives me 22% increased bonuses gained from my left and right equipped ring. That coupled with the flasks, with the increased charges, my setup just seems to work very, very well. It could always be better. I have maxed out resistances, except for chaos, because that's just honestly a pain in the ass. And I have 70% evasion. I have 35% block chance and only 13% armor. Again, this is not a tanky build, this is a very, very damaged build. Overall, everything that I have combined here allows me to get 50,000 DPS with a lightning spear, 30,444 average damage per use, 72% critical hit chance, and a 517% critical damage bonus. And that's it, guys. That's my build so far. I have a lot of things that I'm working on. I have a monk build that I'm working on. I have an archer build that I'm working on. And I have a blood mage build that I'm working on. I also want to create a warrior. I have never liked playing warrior, but I think that it's time that I finally step into that and just commit and make myself a kick-ass warrior build. If you liked the video, please don't forget to drop a like rating, subscribe, and ding dong that notification bell so that every time I release a new video, you guys can see it. Until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Adios.